each of us would agree that we are all waiting for that $1 million trade executed like a professional investors. And here is a simple advice from Howard Marks.
Well, the most important thing, lots of people will tell you how easy it is to invest and how you should go about it. What I'd like you to know is that it's not easy, that the future is unknowable. It throws you a lot of curveballs. You can't know which event will occur. There'll be a distribution of possibilities, and you have to allow for many of them, not just one.
Well, in the book, you talk about...
So that means it's not easy to make money like that. So you need to educate yourself for this challenge. And the second thing highlighted by him is this.
The best way to control risk is to ascertain value and buy for less. You can't possibly do the right thing if you don't have a firm handle on what the value is. Somebody says buy this stock. Somebody says it has a great new product. Somebody says it's going up tomorrow. Those are not reasons to buy a stock. If you understand the value and can hold firm even when the price fluctuates, that's the best way to control risk.
Now, you deal a lot in...
Completely agree on that one. And this is why the Scientific Investor channel gives you more documents and information to read through and understand and educate yourself. Now, as Howard stated that I understand the value of a neutral vehicle asset in this world with all of this geopolitical scenarios happening, it's huge. Now, I don't know how you understand that based on the financial issues happening around the globe, but if you look at that idea of $1 million trade, for me, I'll come into the charts and look at this. Now, what I think is $1 million opportunity as of now in the crypto market, it looks something like this. And when we really go in detail about these, the language spoken by the technical analyst or the charts itself, you can understand there is a lot happening. Now, if you combine this with other stuffs like the market cycle, where we are in the market cycle, the psychology of the investors, and the misinformation being spread, because that is what kind of takes out the retail investors, the perspective which they have. Even if it's positive at the beginning, it's kind of being turned into that negative side. So I conclude that a huge fluctuation is going to happen in this market as the third wave, because we have seen the first, second, and the third is coming. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. If you saw value for your time, please do support the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. If you would like to get extended support, you can go and see the Patreon link given in the description below. If you would like to extend your support, you can use PayPal, Patreon, or the XRP wallet address given in the description below. Now, let's dive through these details and see how all of these are getting connected. While you look for value in different asset classes, you do have to understand these points. Now, here it's being highlighted for quant, but look at the properties which they are talking about. This interview with Raul talking about importance of interoperability and the infrastructure being built to enable an interoperability layer. What have we been talking here from last 3 to 6 months? We've been giving you documents for that. Now, the documents are not something, just made up from a small organization. It was majority from IMF, United Nations, World Bank, BIS, and central banks across the globe, right? So with that, the understanding from those documents and what we hear from experienced investors, the established guys in the industry, it kind of shows you that you are in the right direction. Now, that's one of an aspect to see the value. And then you kind of get to see this. Investors are actually jumping in. So they are bidding for this. And if you read, the banks and exchanges are in. Maybe you are too. But what you have to understand is if they are in, there's going to be a lot of manipulation. And we are watching those kind of manipulation right now in the price. So when these manipulations are happening in the market, you should be aware of that it is happening. And as Howard stated, if you understand the value of the asset, you should be holding tight on that asset when it is volatile, when it's going up, when it's going down. Now this is the chart of altcoin market cap on a weekly. And if you look at the areas which I have highlighted, say this green one is showing you a long-term support resistance zone, which we managed to break above, and we are retesting that area. So if you consider this in a Wyckoff way, you can say this is the accumulation and this is the reaccumulation zone. Now, why do I validate that again? Because if you look at the bottom, in the long-term RSI, you kind of get something like this, a rounded bottom like this, which happened previously from 2014 towards 2017. And then we saw that huge rally. Now, if you look at this, you can see the same from 2018 until now. We are inside that pattern. We haven't broken below that. So the chances of that coming back and retesting this level, it still remains. I agree. But that's RSI, right? The price doesn't need to go much down. Instead, it can remain in a similar area to reach that point. Now, that's for the general altcoin market. Now, if you look at the same altcoin market on a monthly, you can see the impulsive move and the corrective move. So this area, like the last time, is looking like an exact similar thing in a different scale. But it shows you that the corrective phase is kind of at the end, and you are going to see a upside impulsive move like this. If you look here, you can see slowly curvature to the downside it was showing, but then a blast which made it like a wave with a little correction. Yesterday I put this one in my Patreon group, showing that these are real calculations, right? These are the possibility which we can see right now. If you look at the entire pattern from its beginning till yesterday, we are kind of around 471 days structure. Now, if you look at the first shoulder here, it's like 113 days. Now you take that and extrapolate it from this point towards the future, and you kind of see that yes, still we are kind of closing towards that end where we would be ending this shoulder and the entire pattern of the rounded bottom or head and shoulder, or even cup and handle. It depends on how you draw that. But the idea here is in next 20 to 28 days, chances are that we are going to complete this pattern and give a breakout to the upside, and which is 150-180%. If you measure from the bottom to the top of this one, you kind of get towards that. Now, you always understand that the market doesn't move according to targets. It either goes 70 to 80% of that target or way above that. So that has to be factored in. Now, this chart of Bitcoin dominance is showing, yes, it's moving to the upside, but possibility is there if it goes 3 to 4% again to the upside, it will be reaching overhead resistance of this trend line. And it may slow it down. That means the Bitcoin, I'm not saying the price of Bitcoin is going to go down. Instead, the Bitcoin dominance may kind of stagnate for a while, and that will allow the altcoins to run. And XRP, XLM and others may see that pump. Because right now you can see there was a double bottom, then the price broke here and here. So it's continuation of that bullish pattern in these Bitcoin dominance. So once it starts taking a breather correction, all coins will start to pump. And then you look at Ethereum. This is a 4-hour chart of Ethereum, and you can see that we clearly managed to break above, retest that. Now what we have to see is when will we go towards 480, the previous high here, and I personally think that it's going to be soon. We are going to retest that because the MACD and RSI shows that the upside is there. If you remember in yesterday's video, before we got this breakout, I told you guys a flag in Bitcoin usually looks like this. Now, yes, there are times when it kind of, faked. Like here, if you look here, it's something similar, it faked. But on a macro scale, on a weekly, you kind of get something similar and then it breaks to the downside. Whereas here, yesterday we told the chances are that we are going to the upside. Why? We had a trend to the upside, then we even increased the angle of upside from there and we started moving to the upside again. And then looking at the MACD and RSI, we told the chances are high that we are going to break to the upside, and the price kind of did that. So that's actually cool. Now, if you look at XRP on a daily, this is what you see, right? It's kind of a mixed signal, but combining what we saw here for XRP and what we generally understand about the altcoin market cap, it is like the $1 million opportunity which you can see, because the assets which run the most to the upside is like XRP, XLM, which kind of gives that most return on your investment. So if you are looking for that kind of a $1 million opportunity, you should be looking at the max return on your investment. Now, for that, you should also understand the value of the asset which you are investing in, right? And then the current FAs, how things are evolving. So this particular news highlights that Ripple Executive says payments firm is making its strategic adjustment to boost XRP adoption. So previously, they were kind of pushing in their software. Right now, they are pushing in XRP Ledger, right, which is an open source protocol. So once they start using that one, automatically they hold a lot of XRP and they will also benefit massively from that adoption and use cases. Because once the use cases, the utility kicks in, the price, the actual price will start to reflect in what we can see, right? Now, if you look at the tweet from Brad Garlinghouse, he also clarifies that this kind of move from Singapore and other nations where there is clarity, where they are allowed to go into digital assets, companies or businesses are tempted to move into those jurisdictions, because right now it feels like in US they don't have that much clarity, and it's still like that. But when you look at what Brian Brooks states here, it's kind of he states the confirmation for this particular asset has to actually come from SEC, not from OCC. So we still have to wait for SEC. Now guys, think proof of work coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum got that clarity from SEC, and even after a long time for XRP there is nothing. What can be the chances for this? Even though it's a US based company, it's a US based asset, nothing is happening. And at the same time, the assets which got that clarity like Bitcoin is moving to the upside. And Peter in his tweet highlights this. It's going to be massive here. And it's not only Peter showing that. This is another guy, Henrik, who is also showing a similar opinion. Now, if you look his tweet from May 12 towards what we can see now, he's updating that information and showcasing that we are moving to the upside. Now, if you remember, a couple of weeks back, we also did similar analysis and showcased that we are having a breakout and a retest. So the bounce and the chances that we are going to the upside is more. So Bitcoin may reach its all-time high soon. Last week in the Patreon group, I put this one. You can see October 22nd, right? I showed this with the title that Bitcoin is moving towards all-time highs and look for surprises. Meaning, when BTC hits that all-time highs, there are investors who are going to take profit, who started this journey from the bottom here in this accumulation region. Then those profit would be flowing into other assets which haven't appreciated in price much. So one of them would be XRP for sure. At least for my perspective, it is clear that it's going to go into altcoins, and like last time, the history tend to rhyme itself. So XRP is going to give you, or at least for me, I'm having that promising effect from XRP that it's going to give me the maximum return on my investment. Looking at the value, looking at the fundamentals and how things are evolving here, it's clear that it's going to happen. Now, Michael sent me this one showing the rate of adoption and the change of perspective towards digital currency. Toyota Tech, ARM to begin company-wide digital currency pilot. So if you remember again, we highlighted this previously. Giant organizations are going in for this technology and they're going to put out their own tokens. They're going to use digital currencies, and then again you create more walled garden, the silos of different values. Now you again need a bridge asset. Now in a domestic terms, it can be different assets. Now we understand the financial market won't have one clear winner who will be kicking out the ass domestically, internationally, everywhere. But the chances are, for international, the cross-border payments level, you're going to see XRP and XRP Ledger playing its role via Interledger protocol. But it will be connected with Overledger for domestic. Now that's what I foresee in next 5-10 years. Now that is kind of a long-term approach, but to implement all of these stuff to that kind of a level, it may take time. But the price is not necessary to take that much of a time to reach its peak. Because if you look at Bitcoin, this is kind of the fourth wave for that, and usually the fourth wave should be kind of a little bit slow, corrective, and then move to the downside in fifth. Now, I know many of you guys won't agree with that, but that's just the elite wave theory. And I kind of, when I look at elite wave theory, yes, XRP has only done kind of first wave in that aspect, and it still has to do that 2 wave at least, which would be taking us way higher from where it is now. Say currently at a point below 0.3, 0.25, 0.26. So from here, even if we reaches that $14 mark, $22 mark, which is the initial target for us, it's huge. Now the second target would be around 100 to 118, and that's also going to be huge, right? Now that's on the second wave. Now we still have a third wave to come after 3 to 5 years. So we as an investors going to look at this as how it is changing, because when the banks are highlighting this, cryptocurrency is way better than Swift for transferring money, the payments. It is for sure that they are going for this technology. Now different articles kind of have different perspective about the same information, but while they show you this, it kind of highlights that the future is so promising. And if the future is promising, what you should be looking at is to take benefit of that, stand in that odds so that you will be able to take that benefits, the profits. So while you align your portfolio with different assets, now yes, if it is completely concentrated on XRP in crypto, it's okay, because I also believe in keeping all your eggs in one basket, because if you look at experienced traders, investors, established guys, they do support that idea. But they say the choice should be confirmed. That means you should be 100% that the asset on which you're betting should be the right one. Now that's why we go through the fundamental analysis to see the value, then the technical analysis to understand the psychological narrative of the market. For me, it both looks bullish. I hope you guys you are informed well, and that's all for today. So if you received value, please do hit that like and subscribe button. If you would like to extend your support, you can use the PayPal, Patreon, or the XRP wallet address, all given in the description below. All these articles would also be linked in the description, so if you would like to read further, it will help you. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.